Welcome to another episode of Bible and Brewing Coffee with Jesus in the Morning. I am Pastor James Haugen at St. John Lutheran Church in Holgate, Ohio, and today's readings for this coming Sunday are from Isaiah 56, verse 1 and 6 through 8. The psalm is Psalm 67, and actually we'll be looking at that this morning. The epistle is from Romans chapter 11, verses 1 through 2a, 13 through 15, and 28 through 32. And then the gospel reading is from Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28. And I actually will be preaching on this Sunday. So if you want to listen to more about that, come to our 9 a.m. worship service here at St. John Lutheran in Holgate, Ohio. So today we'll be looking at Psalm 67. And usually each day for the Sunday, there is a psalm of the day. And you don't do this in your readings per se when you do the Old Testament, epistle, and gospel. Sometimes you do it between those two. You do a psalm responsory. So you say a part of the psalm and then the congregation responds back. Or you might say it during the introit, with that being the psalm of the day. Or you might chant it during the service, because all the psalms can be chanted during the service because there's different chant tones for each psalm. So this coming Sunday's psalm is from Psalm 67. Hopefully it pops up on the screen for you right now. Psalm 67 begins, "To the choir master with stringed instruments, a psalm, a song." So that, if you see that part in the Hebrew text is actually verse 1. But in the English text, that's more of the subscripts. There's argument over if that was added later, but it was there. It's in our Hebrew text, and we would take it as divinely inspired. But what helps us, each psalm is then labeled. It's "To the choir master with string instruments, a psalm, a song." Don't know if this psalm is attributed to David or not. Most of the psalms are, even though this psalm does not say who it is. Most likely David wrote this, but it just doesn't have a authorship to it in the psalm. So let us read. It's a short psalm. It's 7 verses, so I will read it right now. "May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine upon us, Selah. That you may be known on the earth, your saving power among all the nations. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you judge the peoples with equity and guide the nations upon the earth, Selah. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. The earth has yielded its increase. God, our God, shall bless us. God shall bless us. Let all the ends of the earth fear him." So this is a wonderful psalm. A song of praise is what you would label it as. Each psalm can be labeled in a certain category. If you want to know more about that, there's a little book by Dietrich Bonhoeffer that categorizes all the psalms into different categories, like psalms of praise, songs of destruction or death, psalms of ascent, so that's kind of the later psalms when they're ascending up to the temple. And this could also be labeled as a psalm of ascent, because they're kind of like, you kind of hear the language of going up to the Lord. Another other kind of insight into the text is that word Selah. So I will hopefully show you on the screen, but what's crazy with this word is we actually don't know too much about this word, because it's only shows up in the Psalms, so we don't really have any outside context of this word. But what we can kind of get context from is it's at the end of the song or psalm, and we can kind of say it's like a rest. That's what one of my professors at Concordia Ann Arbor told us, is that it's kind of like a rest. You say it and then you rest. But it's not consistent throughout the Psalms. Like, it's not in every single, you don't see this word in every single psalm. So That's why you can't really truly say what it means. But there is also some meaning behind the word as well, Selah. It's actually a really beautiful name if you want to name your kid that. But again, this psalm is a great psalm of praise. You see the word great. God is gracious to us, bless us, make his face shine upon us. So you kind of hear that in the end of the benediction at the end of service. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. So you get that kind of in the beginning, that your way may be known, like the way of the Lord to the earth. We're praising God so others may hear you, that other nations may hear the Lord. Then let other peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. This is it could be a prayer psalm too, asking for the gospel to be spread out to other nations. The nations have fallen into other ways around themselves and not the way of the Lord. Then let the nations be glad, sing for joy, for you judge the peoples with equity and guide the nations upon the earth. So again, recognizing that the Lord God is the ultimate judge, the ultimate ruler. You can label this psalm again as a kingly psalm, recognizing that the Lord is our true king for all peoples, not just our American way of ruling, but he's the eternal ruler of all. Then let the peoples praise you, O God. Again, that word praise, let all the peoples praise you. That's the same. So we get a repetition here, verse 3 and verse 5, same exact verse. So it's good. Again, I would label this as a praise psalm. Then the earth has yielded its increase. God, our God, shall bless us. Recognizing that God gives us that daily bread each and every day and continues to bless us each day with more than just bread. He blesses us with other foods, other things we need to survive, and then also just daily living things. He provides electricity. He provides water. All these things is God's blessing us upon us. And then God shall bless us. Let all the ends of the earth fear him. And that, again, recognizes kind of that we should fear and love God above all things. Again, fear of God is having faith in him. It is a fear like you are scared that the Lord is this judge, but it's a different, it's a complete and utter trust in the Lord our God. So again, this is a beautiful psalm coming into this Sunday, because the other readings are talking about other nations hearing the gospel. You get that in Isaiah 56, Romans 11. You kind of get that. Paul talking about has God rejected the people? He's also gone out to the Gentiles. So again, this theme of the gospel reaching others, and then the gospel reading. The Canaanite woman coming to him, an outsider of the faith, has this tremendous faith and showing trust, complete and utter trust in the Lord. So a little snippet of those readings as well. And that sometimes on Sunday, all the readings are somewhat interconnected. And over field ed, or actually multiple times, one of the pastors would preach on all three readings, and sometimes even bring in the psalm. So the psalm, that's another thing too about the psalm of the day, is actually the theme of the day most often. So if you ever want to preach on it as a preacher, that you would be preaching on that theme. Sometimes the psalm doesn't hit all the readings, or all the readings don't have that theme, but it is a beautiful, beautiful psalm praising what our God has done for us. He has given us his son Jesus for all the nations to be forgiven of their sins. And hopefully, Lord willing, all the people that you may know that may not know Jesus will get to know Jesus, get to have the Spirit placed upon them in baptism, and then eventually become a member of the church. That would be an amazing, amazing opportunity. So this is episode 2 of Bible and Brewing, your coffee in the morning with Jesus. I hope this blesses you this week. I hope you have a great week of meditating on these readings. Again, if you have any questions, give me a call on our church phone, shoot me an email, And I hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless.